Welcome back to PBI Radio. I'm Chris Guns, and in this segment, I'm going to be joined by the IBF welterweight champion, Randall Bailey. The man is coming off the biggest win of his career, totally rejuvenated it with his big come-from-behind knockout of undefeated Philly's own Mike Jones. So there's a lot to talk about with Randall Bailey. Big fight coming up with Devin Alexander in September. We're going to touch on all that with the IBF welterweight champion. Let's get him on the line. Randall Bailey, welcome, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're from Carroll City, Florida. Tell me what growing up in Carroll City is like.
It was the same as any other, you know what I'm saying, black neighborhood. You know, we had drugs, we had the guns, we had shootings, everything, you know. It was, but, you know, with everything, you have to decide which path you want to take, you know what I'm saying? And after seeing a couple of friends get killed and go to jail and stuff like that, I just chose a different path.
Now, who else comes from Carroll City? We don't hear really anybody else coming from there. Who else comes from there that we might know?
CEO of Slip and Slide Records.
No athletes though, huh?
Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson came out of Kansas City. That played for the Texans, wide receiver. Guy Williams, that played in the NFL. I think he retired now, but his first season was he first started with Seattle Seahawks. I think it was strong safety.
Okay, see, I'm not a football fan.
Man, he can't. We live like right around the corner from each other.
Yeah. So the city's not all yours. What was it like for you as a kid though? What kind of kid were you?
I was bad.
Were you?
I used to get in a lot of fights. That's what everybody know me for, getting in fights.
Yeah. Is that how you got interested in boxing? Who steered you in that direction?
You know, me and my friends, we used to ride by the gym on the bus a lot, and you know what I'm saying, I seen the gym, and we always said that we was going to go in there one day, but, you know, they would never go. So one day I was just home chilling, and I was like, I called up there, and got all the information, and I just had my mom take me up there, and it was on ever since.
And what was your house like growing up? What was?
Everybody was doing their own thing, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know?
You're not an only child, then?
My mom was young, you know. My dad was doing his thing, you know, so it happens, you know?
And what was boxing like in Carroll City back then?
Boxing?
Yeah, what would you see when you go into the gym the first time? Did you see anything?
The gym wasn't in my neighborhood. I had to go out of my neighborhood to get to the gym.
So where was the gym?
The gym was located in Liberty City. So I would have to catch the bus down there to get to the gym. But you know, when I first started, it was a lot of pros in the gym. Jose Rebalta, Uriah Grant, Freddie Pendleton. You know what I'm saying? A lot of local fighters that was in the area that really didn't reach that high mark in boxing, you know what I'm saying? But their names was pretty good because they was tough opponents. We had Glenn Wolf, was there. Who else? Ed Pollard. You probably don't remember Ed Pollard. Ed Pollard fought Cedric Mean Man Mingo out of North Carolina for the WBA and the Continental title.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on Tuesday night fights a lot of times.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
He fought Rafael Pineda. And you know, and Freddie Pendleton, Trevor Burbick, man, a whole slew of fighters that used to come to the gym when I first started, and we had a lot of younger guys in the gym that I came up with, and they all the pros used to sit around the ring.
Wow. That's cool.
It was just like when I was in the neighborhood, because it was one of my good close friends. He like a big brother to me. But he lived like right up the street from me. And on the weekend, if him and his homeboys were sitting out in front of the house, and me and my friends was outside playing, they would always find a way to get us to start fighting the guys from the other side of the street. I don't know how they would get them to come over to our side and get us to fight outside. You know what I'm saying? So,
probably didn't take much.
Yeah, you know, so when I started at the gym, it was like the same scenery, but if you got caught doing what you're doing in the gym, you're not going to get in trouble.
True, man. And what kind of amateur career did you have?
Excuse me, say again?
What kind of amateur career did you have?
What kind of what now?
Amateur career.
Amateur?
Yes.
It was alright. I really didn't like the amateur too much because it was a lot of politics involved, you know, and our gym wasn't one of the favorite gyms, so we didn't receive a lot of funding from the other organizations and stuff, you know, and we didn't really get to go to a lot of the big tournaments that was around, you know.
And what made you decide to turn pro?
I pretty much had a pro style because it was a lot of, like I said, a lot of the pros in the gym, you know, a lot of local guys, including Freddie Pendleton was in the gym. I used to spar with Freddie when I was like 16 years old.
How'd that go? How old were you when you first?
He used to give it to me. And you know what? He gave it to me because he wanted to see if I was gonna quit. But I never quit. I always came back the next day. Even if I left with 2 black eyes, I came back the next day.
And that's it.
You know, and when I was spar with other pros, I was some pros I was knocking out in the gym when I was 16 years old, man.
Nice. So you were ready to turn pro.
Yeah, I was ready, but you know, it all came with maturity. You know what I'm saying? I kept I ended up going away from boxing because it was easy for me. You know what I'm saying? I already knew how to fight on the street, so just learning some technique behind it made it that much better. So, you know, I kind of took it for granted a little bit, and I never really trained. They would call me a week before the fight. I'd be like, okay, where the fight gonna be at? Oh, the fight gonna be real? Okay, I'll come to the gym, train for a week, go fight.
And what was life like for you when you did turn pro? Like, what were you doing for?
Well, when I did decide to turn pro, I was a lot more focused, and you know, I knew that time was running very fast. I had turned 21. I had just got out of jail for getting caught with a gun. You know what I'm saying? And you know, nobody was gonna like hire me on a job. So you know, I say, you know what? I got this talent. Let me go back to the gym and give it 100 and see where it get me, and that's what I did. You know, I went back and started training with Freddie when he was getting ready for his Trinidad fight. So, and while training there, his trainer at the time was Al Bonanni, and you know, that was my gateway into the game. You know.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And do you remember who you fought and where it was and what the result was? I like to test my guess, man.
The first guy I fought, April 6th, 1996, name was Fernando
Granda.
Fernando Grande, yeah.
Yeah, man. TKO 1.
Yeah.
How'd you feel after that first pro win?
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah. Didn't just change your world?
Nah, it let me know that I had the power that I had, and that I could knock people out for real.
Yeah. First round KO became a habit. You scored 21 wins straight and 21 KOs. You turned pro and you were fighting the usual suspects and tomato cans, but if you're knocking everyone cold, that says something, you know. Tomato cans are not. You could punch your ass off. Your right hand is a great equalizer. It's a legendary right hand. How'd you develop a deadly punch like that? Joe Frazier and Ernie Shavers both said like farm work is the reason they had such power. Where'd you get your power from?
Hey, exactly. I've always had the power, but throwing it accurately. Tommy Brooks. I'm being honest. Tommy Brooks came down to help Freddie train for the Tracy Spann fight when he was getting ready to fight for the title the second time, because the first fight ended in the head, but second time, Freddie brought Tommy down to help him get ready for that fight. And I was in the gym then. Freddie used to come pick me up and bring me to the gym. I was still amateur. He would come get me, bring me to the gym. And Tommy was watching me, and he was like, do this. And what he told me was just, when I'll throw my right hand right, but when I throw it, just turn with it. Just turn my back foot with it. And that would increase my power and accuracy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from then on, I would go to the gym, and the first 3 rounds of me shadowboxing, I would just go around the ring and do that. Just do that move. Shoot, shoot, every day. Every day I'm in the gym, I do that. First 3 rounds, that's all I'm doing. Shoot, shoot. It's like my right hand is what it is. I'm gonna hit you with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gonna hit you with it. I don't care how you work on not trying to get hit with it, you're gonna get hit with it.
And your right hand's like John Wayne's right hand, man. One shot. That's all it takes. Man's just falling out. And during that 21 KO streak, you go from knocking guys out like 13 wins and 110 loss guy like Jerry Strickland and Rodney Wilson, who was 23-11-1, to fighting for the vacant WBO light welterweight championship against 48-3 Carlos Gonzalez. Didn't matter, he got KO'd in round 2. Take me back to that night. What's that like to be?
All I can remember, I knew I got that fight with 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, that was only your 19th pro fight too.
Yeah, my 19th pro fight with 2 weeks notice. I know the night of the fight, we signed the fight. You know, I don't really get excited about too many things.
Yeah, don't sound like it.
It was a great opportunity for me to fight for the title. And all I can remember was my manager, how he looked. Because my first manager, he loved me like I was his son. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing he would want to do is put me in a fight that he felt like I was going to get really, really, really hurt. So, all I can remember is looking at his face during the fight, and when they was announcing us, I don't know, he was so worried. Tears was like in his eyes, like water was in his eyes, and I just was like, that just made me get even more comfortable, you know. And I knew once I touched him, it was going to be over. I thought it would probably end in like 4. I didn't think it was going to end in 1 though.
How'd you feel holding that belt afterwards?
Man, I don't know. I really don't get too excited about it.
That's what's so cool about your last fight, because you did get excited. But how did life change after that first?
But you know what? That fight right there, that people, man. I'm not normally emotional, but it's just the fact that I knew that I was going to knock this dude out, and I knew what was going through everybody else's head, and, you know, I couldn't just break down during the fight. You know, I had to wait till the job was done and then show everybody that I knew what I was going to do. I came to do what I came to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You talking about Carlos Gonzalez, or what fight you talking about?
You talking about my last fight? Right, with
Yeah, that's the night you.
Last fight with Mike Jones. I told everybody I was gonna knock Mike Jones out. When I did interviews prior to the Mike Jones fight, I was in my neighborhood, and you know, all my homeboys and stuff, we sitting around, we kicking it. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling them what the odds is on the fight before the fight even happened. I'm like, look, I'm telling you, I'm finna knock this dude out. Y'all better put your money up. Go, y'all want to make that money? Y'all go ahead and put that money up, because it was 4-1 at the time. I'm telling you, I'm gonna knock him out. It was just a matter of time. I knew when I hit Mike Jones in the first round, I caught him on the back of the neck a little bit. I knew that was supposed to be the one that caught him. It didn't catch him, and it was gonna take off on me. And Mike Jones is a big dude. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was gonna be that big. They had him listed at 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
They had him listed at 6 feet. You know, standing next to him, he was bigger than that.
Yeah. Now going back to that first championship fight with Carlos Gonzalez, how did your life change after that from what you were and your financial situation before and after? Did you see like a big difference in your lifestyle?
No. I've never been the type to base my life around money.
Mm-hmm.
My manager, he said, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, the hell with it. You know, if he would catch me without money, he'd give me money. You know, he never wanted money to be an issue with me. You know, so even now to this day, if I got it, I got it. If I don't, I don't. I don't have to go around and portray to be somebody I'm not around here in my neighborhood, because they accept me for who I am. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be Randall Bailey, the champ, around here. I can just be myself. You know what I'm saying? They're going to call me champ anyway. So it really don't matter.
That's it. As long as you're champion of your own neighborhood, that's all that matters, I guess.
Hey.
Your next fight after winning the championship, your first defense was against Hector Lopez. Tell me about that one. You scored a 9th round TKO. How'd you feel going 9 rounds? Longest you went was 7 before that.
I like those fights. Hector was to this day, I still consider Hector the toughest fight I ever had. Cause that was a fight. He had my head. He was in my head.
Mm.
So he was moving around and do all type of little weird, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
He was my Emmanuel Augustus fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The drunken style.
Yeah, he was.
Did you ever worry, like, as a big puncher, about punching yourself out like a lot of big punchers do?
Nah.
And you defended your title in France against Rocky Martinez. What was France like? Was that your first time out of the States to box, period? Amateur or pro?
Yeah.
What was it like being in France?
France was great. Trying to go back. Find the right girl to take with me.
Yeah, and you scored a 7th round TKO.
Mm-hmm.
You come back here and you fight in there, Julio, just a little more than 2 months later. After 12 rounds, you're brought the distance for the first time ever, and the decision goes against you. You lose the belt that night.
That fight right there.
Mm-hmm.
I had, I think it was a month before, Holyfield and John, we were supposed to fight in Vegas, and the card fell apart. You know what I'm saying? I got sick first. I got sick and had to end up pulling out of that fight. And the whole, I don't know what happened either with John Ruiz or Holyfield, but one of them got sick and the whole card vanished. They just canceled the whole card.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up coming back a month later fighting on the Trinidad card. And you know, just wrong game plan for the fighter that I was fighting. He came in. I think Julio had to come in to the fight that night 160 pounds. I was like 140, 45, 46. That was my walk around weight when I was fighting at 140 then. And I felt I won the fight. You know what I'm saying? But there was a lot of politics going on within that fight. That, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna dwell on the past, but it was a lot of things going on prior to that fight, to where he was given that decision So I'm not really going to. But it was a good fight. I liked the fight. You know, it was a great, tough fight. The fans loved it. I liked it. It is what it is. He won that night.
Mm-hmm. And how
after that, he never won another fight after that.
Yeah. So he wasn't the same. Who won that fight?
He wasn't the same.
Yeah. I think you landed something that might have changed his life. Who knows? Now, how surprised were you that you didn't knock this guy out? First guy that actually you couldn't knock out.
Well, I think if I was fighting a regular 140 pounder that night,
mm-hmm.
I knocked him out. That dude came in weighing 160.
Yeah.
The night of the fight, he was 160 pounds.
Mm-hmm. How'd it feel to just look at your record and you're not unbeaten and you're not a champ? How depressing was that?
It wasn't depressing, man. It's fighting. You win, you lose.
Yeah, you came back and you started a new KO streak and a new win streak.
Well, I look at it.
You knocked out a couple of no-hopers in Billy Wooten and Anthony Cobb and Bobby Elkins, and you fought tough Demetrios Savalos for the title. That became vacant when Kasha Tszyu became a champion emeritus, a diamond champion, or some other nonsense. But
yeah.
It's still a title. What do you remember about Demetrios Savalos?
I remember watching Demetrios Savalos and Wilfredo Latigo
Mm-hmm.
in Tutu Zavala gym down in Miami on 36th Street. I remember watching these two dudes go to war.
Yep.
Go to war in just sparring sessions. And I'm like, damn. Now I gotta fight this dude. I used to look up to the dude because just the way they used to be in the gym, how they used to go hard in the gym. Like, damn, now I gotta fight this dude. I wonder if he gonna come at me like that.
Yeah.
And
tough guy.
Yeah, tough guy. But I trained and, able to catch him.
Yeah, that championship was the one that Kasha Tszyu got. They took it away and gave him a higher class.
Prior to that fight, I was supposed to fight Hurtado.
Mm-hmm.
I started training in July of 2001 to fight Hurtado on Trinidad Bernard Hopkins card.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled out. He pulled out of the fight. End up fighting somebody else, winning another belt, which should have eliminated him from even fighting for the title. But Leon was his lawyer at the time, and I don't know what they did with the WBA. Whereas after I done sat and waited for this guy over a year, when I do fight for the title, they make me fight. When I win the title, they make me fight him in 90 days. And after training that long, I just wasn't up for the fight.
Yeah, you fought Hurtado in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Before you, he was best known for almost beating Pernell Whitaker and spoiling the Pernell Whitaker De La Hoya fight. So Pernell switched personalities and kind of became like Mike Tyson and just ended it. And Hurtado gave Kasha Tszyu a real tough fight and almost stopped him too. So he's clearly a tough guy for anyone. And he ended up knocking you out. Tell me about that one. How'd that go? You shouldn't even fought him. You didn't think, because you didn't think he deserved it, but he did get the chance.
Well, not that soon anyway.
Yeah.
So I should have been able to at least take a break. I shouldn't have had to go right back in and
yeah. So you felt kind of like overtrained and done pretty much.
Just mentally, I wasn't into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
The training or anything.
How'd you feel after that loss, though?
And
just get back on the horse again.
Exactly.
And that was also on the undercard of Tito Trinidad's fight against Hassan Sharifi. What's that place like for a Tito Trinidad fight? Did you even stay to enjoy the fight after your fight?
No, I never. I don't do it after no fight.
No, you just leave.
I didn't even stick around after the Stick around for the Manny Pacquiao fight.
What do you do? Just go eat?
Out of there. I'm done. I'm out.
Go get paid and have fun.
I'm out.
You come back and you KO a 2-5 guy like Alfonso Fowler in one. Then you fight Chop Chop Corley for his WBO 140-pound title in his hometown of DC. What do you remember about that first fight with Chop Chop?
I don't think the fight should have been in DC.
I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
The ref telling me, I'm gonna be real verbal with my commands. If I say stop punching, I mean stop punching. I mean stop punching. Okay, yeah, all right. Fight going on. I get tied up. He say break, I break. You know, it was just a bunch of nonsense.
So you didn't agree with the decision?
No, Chop Chop won the fight. I was just so frustrated. He won the fight.
No.
I didn't do nothing to him.
No. Almost a year to the day and a win over no hooper Reggie Strickland by decision, by the way. How'd that feel to hear winner by decision Randall Bailey? Had to feel different.
Reggie wasn't going to let me knock him out. That was.
Yeah, he was hugging you, wasn't he?
Telling me not to knock him down no more.
But you almost a year to the day of the Chop Chop loss, you drop another 12-rounder against 13-0 Ishe Smith. You dropped in round 2. What was Ishe Smith's fight like that night?
I thought the Ishe fight could have been a draw, or I could have won by maybe a round 2, because even the Showtime judges had me up 2 rounds, not down. But you know, at that time, Gary Shaw was doing a lot of things, man. That wasn't the first suspect decision that was given to one of his fighters, you know, at that time.
No.
So,
yeah, it's like that.
Ishe won. Even with that fight, Ishe left Gary Shaw after that fight, and basically retired until he came back and fought on the Contender.
Yeah. The Contender saved his career. He came back with it.
He retired. He basically retired after me and him fought.
Yeah.
Until he came back for the Contender.
Yep. And you return and you win over a lower level guy. Then you fight a 21-0 guy, Miguel Cotto. What was that fight like that night? That was rough. That was a rough fight that night. How good was Miguel Cotto back then?
At 140, I don't think Miguel was what he was at 147. That fight showed me that, you know, either you finna find a trainer that can find your niche or use what you have to make you better, or you gotta retire.
Is that about the time you hooked up with John David Jackson?
Yeah, it was Norman Wilson and John David Jackson. I was with Norman first, and then John came in. But me and John had met in 2001 when I was in camp training for the Hurtado fight on the Trinidad card that he put out. But my trainer at the time, Al Benani, didn't want to let John interfere or even get close to me to try to show me anything, you know. So we really should have been working way back when, you know, because we had already knew each other. But when he came around, when I got with Norman, it was no problem, you know.
Yeah. Now, what did you think?
But the Cotto fight, back to the Cotto fight, yeah, that fight, I was very disappointed in myself, you know, in that fight. You know, at the time I was in transition, trying to find the right trainer. The trainer that I had at the time was Spanish, and he spoke mostly Spanish, you know, and the only reason why I used him is because he was familiar with me, you know, because when I was with my first trainer, he was in the gym with us with his fighters, and he pretty much seen how I how I go about my work. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like he would pretty much know what to do, but his style basically didn't fit me. So that shit didn't work.
Yeah. It's a long time went by since you and Miguel Cotto fought. Though. What did you think of his performance with Floyd a few months back? Did you think he'd do that well?
Yeah, I said that if he would have boxed more, he would have did better. And even in the fight, when he was boxing and moving and using the jab, he was doing very well.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's definitely underrated boxing. His boxing skills underrated. Good fighter though, great fighter. Now suddenly though, after that Cotto loss, you look at your record and you got 5 losses and 4 out of your last 7 fights you lose. You took a long vacation after that fight.
Yeah, I had got with Norman Wilson, and basically he just said, you know what, we're not gonna take no fights. We just gonna start from the bottom and start from scratch, you know.
Yeah. So you started learning again.
Yeah. I had to go back to the basics.
Yep. You can never stop learning.
We did that for like I said, I only had one fight in 2005, and that was against what's his face?
Roberto Ortega.
Yeah, Ortega. Colombian dude. And after that, it was straight back to the drawing board after that.
Yeah, and you return and you
I
score
was basically
7
in camp in his house with no fight scheduled nowhere in America or nowhere else, and we just stayed working every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
You got 7 straight wins and 5 by knockout. You go to Quebec and you fight Herman and Gojo after that, after the 7 wins.
Man, please.
And the fight's close, but he gets a decision. What do you think about that one?
That's like a bunny rabbit stealing his own egg.
Yeah.
I watched that fight over and over, and I clearly won 10 rounds. It's like, just because I didn't win the last round, give him the fight.
Yep.
Oh man! But like I said, karma is a motherfucker. That fool ain't won a title yet.
Yeah. Then
His career's over.
Did that help you at all? Teddy Atlas scored that for you, and you ruined careers too.
Hey, it didn't give me the decision. Hey, I don't know what it is.
It's a sport, man, like that.
First in a Julio, didn't win another fight after we fought. Matter of fact, he had to have surgery on his eyes, so he took a year off. Hurtado got knocked out in the third round by freaking Vivian Harris. His career was over. Chop Chop, I didn't do nothing to Chop Chop. I didn't really get to lay too many hands on Chop Chop.
No.
Ishe, tired. Left Gary Shaw, said we putting the man too tough. And even after the fight with Mike Jones, Ishe came out of nowhere. He like, if you don't have no defense, do not fight Randall Bailey.